guys, welcome back to a special edition of Chats from the Blog Cabin. It's the very first in-person chat, and I couldn't imagine anybody I would rather have the first in-person chat with than my friend Hannah. Hannah, you may remember, we started a chat last week and her internet was really bad, so she agreed to come. We kind of worked it out together that she would come on. So, Hannah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
As Melissa said, we're friends. We met through blogging, and sorry for the technical difficulties last week. This is even better. I have a blog called The Hannah Hardy where I blog about all things makeup and beauty and a little bit of everything. And I went to Meredith College and I graduated in 2013, and I work in agricultural lending by day, and then I blog and do that for fun at night.
Now, Hannah, there was a really important reason why I wanted you to come on, and because September is Mental Health and Suicide Awareness Month, and so that's one of the reasons why I had you tagged to come on this time. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
Okay, so I've always been the girl with the plan. I can remember my senior year of high school, none of my friends knew where they wanted to go to college or what they wanted to do for a career or a major, and I always did. I knew I wanted to go to Meredith. I knew I wanted to major in fashion merchandising. I knew I wanted to go to Paris and study abroad. And then when I was done, I was off to a big city to be a buyer or whatever. The road was open. I applied for jobs all over, and none of that came true. I've always heard, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. And that is for sure the reason that he laughs all the time is at me. I found myself
Me too, so don't worry.
After graduation with no job and not a whole lot of prospects. And I was just really down. It was, no after no after no. And I thought, I thought I did everything right. I went to college, got the degree, got the grades, and I've still come up short. I did get a job that started part-time. It went to full-time, moved out to my own place, and started working. And I was still really heavily dependent on my parents for finances, which I did not like. But I was working, and that was a step in the right direction. Well, the place I worked the location wasn't the best. It was a cosmetic store, and I worked by myself. So I had all day to just get in my own head and think about everything I wasn't doing, not everything that I had going for me, of course, dwell on the negative. And anxiety's been something I've struggled with a long time, and it was just compounding. And I think being alone too much just allowed me to get in my head and get me in a very, very dark and bad place. And I would see my friends, getting promotions or buying houses or doing this. And I'm like, I can't even get a full-time job. I can't even pay my rent without asking my mama for some money. And, I was just down. I was like, is it ever going to get better? Like, I just thought I had messed up so bad in life. And it got to be a point I had stopped taking my anxiety medicine, which, word to the wise, if you take anxiety medication, never just stop cold turkey. They tell you that, but I don't listen. So, I decided I didn't need it anymore when I got the job. And so that, coupled with all the alone time and comparison and all that, just it got to me. And I was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. Like, I'm such a failure. I can't find a job. I can't use this degree that my parents have gotten for me, essentially, and that I worked so hard for, and I can't do it anymore. And so I had planned to go home and take my own life. And that's very hard to say, but it's the truth. No shame here.
Well, I will say I'm thankful you didn't, because
me too.
I've been truly blessed to have you as a friend.
And that goes both ways. And again, tell God your plan, and he laughs. So he said, not today. And when I got home to my apartment, my dog was waiting for me, and he was so excited to see me. And I looked at him and I thought, I can't do this. I thought, he depends on me. He's always excited to see me. If nothing else is going right, I'm good in his eyes. And, obviously somebody could have taken care of the dog, but I'm his mom. He relies on me to love him, feed him, all that. And so he, I joke that I'm a crazy dog lady, and that's very true, but he's more than a dog to me. He was my saving grace.
I love that. Now tell us a little bit about your dog. because your dog he's got to be the cutest. Besides my Allie.
I was about to say, I'm going to tell Allie you said
Allie.
that.
Of course, Allie. Allie's all over my brand. So anybody that doesn't know who Allie is, you need to go look at my brand because she's all over it. She's part of the Block Cabin. She was out here earlier.
I know, she should be here. Windsor's a peekapoo. I got him the December before I graduated in May. He'll be 8 in October. And he loves his grandma more than he loves me now, but that's okay. He still loves me too, but him and his grandma are BFFs. But he's just the best.
Yeah, your grandma stayed. I mean, the grandma, not your grandma.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. She stays home with him more, so that's why he loves her more.
Oh yeah.
She probably gives him a lot of treats and
constant attention and constant throwing the ball and.
Now, what would you say to somebody who is contemplating this? How would you talk them through it? From your experience, what's the thing that you could tell people?
So the big thing is to ask for help. Because you feel like you're alone. Nobody feels like you do. Nobody's has it as bad as you do. Or, you just feel isolated, even though you're not. And there's a lot of great resources out there. And this is what kind of kickstarted getting my relationship with the Lord in the right place. But if that's not for everybody, there's great resources online. You can chat with a counselor. I did that because I had too much pride to go to therapy. I don't need that. And so I could sit behind my computer screen where I felt safe, but still get help and talk and connect with someone. And that was really helpful because, some people don't do face-to-face. That's uncomfortable for them. So there's great resources online. The National Suicide Hotline is very important. There are people you can call. There's got to be somebody in your life. Mm-hmm. And if there's not, look me up on Instagram and call me. But
and you might get some of those sugar daddies on Instagram.
Well, looking for that too. No, but there are people that love you, even when you feel unlovable, even when you don't love yourself. There's somebody somewhere that cares about you. And if you can't find anybody else, know that the Lord does. Yes. And He has a purpose for your life and a plan. And just get on your knees and pray. I mean, I've heard, when you can't take it anymore, when you can't stand anymore, get on your knees and pray. And that's very true.
That is so true. Now, there's a lot of stigma behind being on medication. Can you talk about how it helped you so that people know that it's not a bad thing to actually go on medication?
I was kind of secretive about it for a little while, but now let your freak flag fly. Like, I don't care. If you need it, you need it. If it helps, it helps. Medication helps some people. Therapy helps some people. It's all a combination of both, but not doing anything isn't the answer. And when I started taking it, my doctor, of course, recommended that I speak to somebody. And I was in college, and I had gone to the counselor on campus. But my thing was, I knew in my head that I was making a mountain out of a molehill, but I couldn't get my heart on the same page. Like, I knew it deep down that it wasn't that big of a deal, or I didn't need to worry about that, or whatever. But I couldn't get my head and my heart on the same page.
Yes.
And so I went on medication 2011 maybe. And then, like I said, I decided I didn't need it anymore in 2013, and that was a bad idea. And I still take it. And I have no shame. I hope to not take it for my whole life, but if I need to, I need to.
Do you think that the college age is more when people are more likely to get that anxiety and to get that fear of they don't know what's going on, that they're worthless, that they're not lovable?
There's pressure in high school. I don't think I knew what anxiety was in high school, but that's probably where mine started because it's just drilled into your head. You have to do extracurriculars. You have to get this on the SAT. You have to make these grades and get this GPA, or if you don't, you're not going to college. And that was important to me, was to have a strong academic background because I knew I wanted to go to college. And so I would, while everybody was out on Friday night, I was at home doing homework, just trying to get ahead or whatever I could, because academics performance in school was important to my parents, but it was also a lot of pressure I put on myself.
It was like your worth was wrapped up in
the letter grade I got. For sure. And so Then you get out of high school and you go to college, and it's a whole new set of, because you have to prove yourself. Because in high school they won't kick you out, but to a certain extent. In college, there's no babysitting or calling your mom to tell you you didn't do your homework.
Yeah.
And if you don't do your homework, you're going to fail. No, you just fail and you go home. Like, it's there's not the hand holding there, even at a smaller school like I went to. And so there's that pressure. And then you graduate. I mean, I started preschool at 3 years old, and I graduated college at 21. All I knew was to go to school. I've gone to school my whole life. And then grad school was not something I wanted to pursue. So I graduated in May, and I wasn't going back to school in August. And that's all I've ever known.
Yeah.
So you leave and you're like, well, now what? I got to get a job. I got to be an adult. I got to pay bills. I have to find somewhere to live, And that pressure is crushing, because you got to find a job, but you want to find a good job, and, a job you're proud of, and a job that pays well, and all of that. And the job market was not great when I graduated, and entry-level positions were hard to come by. And so I think it starts, depending on your personality, it can start earlier than college.
Oh, wow.
For me, I know it did. I just didn't know what it was.
Do you think there was a comparison? Because I'm thinking about, because I have 3 girls and you are a family of 3 girls and you're the youngest. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you think it's a comparison of the other two were like with Gracie, like Gracie's the youngest and the other 2 are kind of in college, they're succeeding, and Gracie still doesn't know what she wants to do with her life.
Right.
Do you think that you had that with some kind of a pressure too, as well, for you a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. And it was from myself, not from my parents. It was definitely, my older sister's always been really smart. She went to Carolina. She always knew what she wanted to do too. And I saw how hard she worked. I mean, she knew at like 5 years old she wanted to be a pharmacist and go to Carolina. And I watched her work her whole school career, I guess you could say, to get to Carolina, to get into pharmacy school. And I was like, well, she did it. I can do that too. And I always wanted to do everything they did anyway.
Yeah.
And my middle sister was at Meredith too. And, she's in college too. And I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get the grades. I'm trying to, but like I said, my parents are never, you have to have straight A's or bust. But
was that internal pressure that you were
100, yeah. But to me, it was,
because you didn't think that you measured up to them in your mind.
Yes.
It's not anything that your parents did.
No,
it's the internal pressure.
Yeah, like I had to have the GPA and be in the Honor Society and be a North Carolina Scholar and do all those things, because that made me feel like I had reached, like I could see,
like, worthy, valuable.
Yeah, tangible accolades from all of my hard work.
So, how are you different now than when you were in college?
Oh, so many things. Yes, what would you tell your younger self, and that, that kind of thing. And it's just, it'll be okay. It might not be okay today. It might not be okay tomorrow. Hell, it might not be okay a year from now, but it will be okay. And you're on nobody's time clock. Nobody says you have to become a CEO, get married, buy a house and a car and a Labrador in, 30 minutes after you graduate.
Wow, that would be a lot, 30 minutes.
But you know what I mean? Like, societal pressures. You go to college, you graduate, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, you ride off into the sunset, I guess. But that's not my path.
Yeah. And then also, too, you're from a very small town, and you had a small graduating class, am I correct?
Yeah.
So that's probably going to have pressure on you, because weren't you voted most likely to succeed?
Yeah. So that still makes me laugh.
That's some kind of internal pressure.
But yeah, it's like, if I go back to my tutoring union and I don't have like a decent job, that's not going to look good for me.
But you know what? You are succeeding, because you're succeeding where others are like, they're thinking about the job. You're thinking about your
success
your
is
life
personal,
and your personal successes and emotional well-being.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's a lot of people out there that can't deal with anything emotional at all.
Yeah, success is measured differently for different people, but I think I'm successful.
So, how did your parents? I know Hannah shared this story with me last year. Was it last year? Or 2 years ago, when we first started doing Proverbs 31 online Bible studies together.
Was it I think last year.
I think last year. We actually we knew each other, but we didn't really know each other. And Hannah was like, posted on Instagram that she was doing this Bible study with online Bible study with Proverbs 31. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing it too. You want to meet up? And that's how her and I got so super close. I mean, she is one of these friends that if I don't hear from within a week, I'm texting to make sure she's okay. Or, we're just sending crazy, stupid things to each other sometimes. And we're like, did you see this on Instagram?
Right.
Or especially talking about the royal family and all
my people.
Yeah, her people. But, when you told me that story, my heart just felt for you. I was like, here you are, this amazing person, and you didn't see that. I mean, you didn't see that at all. You didn't see what amazing person you are. And she's actually Hannah's one of the reasons why I started Chats in the Blog Cabin, because she encouraged me to get out of my own head. And I think we both did that.
That's what I say, and you did it for me too. So it worked both ways.
And are you still doing your YouTube things or not so much?
Not so much. The initial goal was to just post that video where I shared my story, my testimony, whatever you want to call it, because I just kept feeling God nudging at me to share. It'll help somebody somewhere, some way, someday. And I was, ignoring. I was like, I don't want to. Like, it's very personal to me. I just don't know. But it just kept telling me and telling me and telling me. And you can only ignore God, but for so long. But I was just scared. I was scared to death. Somebody's going to judge me. I was going to fail. Nobody's going to watch it. Nobody's going to care. And then I was like, then I had to remember I was doing it. I was doing it as much for me as I was for anybody. And she finally gave me the nudge to do it. And it just takes too long. I told you the internet story. So uploading a video is like a week-long thing that I just don't have the patience for. And then you have to edit. And I like writing my blog. I can say what I need to say.
But that's also another thing that you've done that's a little bit differently. You originally had a first blog.
I did.
And then you switched out of it because you felt like it was just pulling you down and that it was all about the money, and that's not what you wanted.
Right.
See, probably the old Hannah would have continued on with that blog. Am I correct?
Probably, just because on the outside it looked like I was fine. And I had it together because I was posting cute outfits and tips and things like that. So you'd have never known.
Yeah, but now it's all about makeup and what she wears. And
yep.
And I mean, she's beautiful inside and outside.
Well, thank you.
Now let's talk about Windsor for a minute. Tell us about Windsor's name, because this is a really cute story. Remember, Windsor is the one that saved her when she came home and she saw him and she knew she could not do it.
And his precious baby angel face. Mm-hmm. So his name is, when I had picked out the puppy and I couldn't decide what to name him. And I was thinking about Wills, because that's what they call William, Wills. And my mom was like, I don't think so. And I was like, how about Windsor? And it just kind of, and it's funny because my best friend's last name is Windsor. And her family had a dog named Hannah. What are the odds? So we went with Windsor for the royal family. They're from the House of Windsor. And his middle name is Cambridge for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, because they're my people. And so he's a little royal pup.
Yeah, a little royal pup. She has all intentions of being Kate Middleton's best friend, BFF, right?
Yeah, we are BFF. Up here. I'm probably blacklisted on some list in England for, travel ban or something.
Why?
Because I'm obsessed with her.
Are you stalking her?
No, but given the opportunity, I would say I wouldn't.
Well, you wouldn't end up being something like Diana with paparazzi.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. All right. So what is your take? We're going to really quick go into the royal family since you brought it up. Take on Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I almost said William.
I said, do not put her with him. So, shot heard around the world was when they left, exited, whatever, gave up their roles. My thing with that is, first of all, Kate always reigns supreme, literally and in my world. But she knew what she was signing up for. There was no surprise. He came with family, baggage, service. Service above all is what the royal family is. No, they have their fair share of skeletons, and life in the public eye will get you. But their job is to serve, and she knew that. I mean, who doesn't know who Prince Harry is? I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he did for a living. Like, get out of here. And she couldn't take it. I think she wanted to capitalize on that a little bit, maybe skyrocket her fame. And I understand, like, the press was not nice to her.
No, they weren't. And I think a lot of it has to do with her being biracial.
And I will give her that. They were not nice to her, but they're not nice to anybody.
No, wow.
In all fairness. That she was just a new person of the moment. But they did the same thing to Kate. Clearly you saw what it did to Diana. Comes with territory. If that's not something you're interested in, keep on.
Do you think that has caused a bigger chasm or divide between William and Harry now?
Oh, for sure. Because William doesn't have an option to leave the royal family. He will be king. I guess he could, but that's not really something you just drop out of.
There was one that did.
There is one. There's true.
But then George would be. Who would be the one that?
George is next.
George, okay.
But I don't think he's likely to just dip out on them. And I think Harry's probably always felt second fiddle to William because he's in line for the throne and we have to groom him and do all this because he's going to be king. And I get it. I mean, royal life isn't for everybody, but Harry didn't have a choice. That's the life he was born into. She did.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, going back onto this now. Are there some days that are harder than others for you as far as now? Are there some days where your mental, you have to be away from people because you're not
every day? I'm just kidding. Introvert problems. No.
I'm not an introvert. Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, for sure.
Guys, I threw her in a house with three of the people you had not really met. You met Emily, but you hadn't met the other two this weekend, and she was laughing and joking with all of them by the end of the weekend.
By the end of the weekend. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm an extrovert and introvert, I suppose, but I prefer quiet aloneness. But there's definitely days where I just feel weird or off or just. Ugh. But I have to make a conscious choice every day when I get up to think positively, to be happy, to be thankful, to be grateful, to remember how far I've come. Mm-hmm. And that's a decision I may have to make every day for the rest of my life. But if I decide not to that day, then that derails the whole thing. And if there are people in my life or that I meet that pull me down or make me feel bad about myself, they just have to go.
Okay, so negative people, toxic people, just out.
No, I've done too much work and come too far to let one person and their bad attitude pull me down.
And so does that include working with the public on the job, or do you have to kind of grin and bear it sometimes?
Well, I have to have a job, so no, but for work, there's a work environment. I'm very lucky to work with awesome people, and so mine is pretty good. But there are just days. Everybody has days. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like I write everybody off just for having one bad day. But I'm very lucky that most of the people I work with, all of the people, are upbeat, happy. Let's keep going.
Yeah, you're talking about more the people that are every time you turn around, they're always something negative, always something negative.
Yes.
Trying to, yeah.
Or nothing ever goes right for them, or they have a bad day every day. And I'm like, you're letting yourself. Mm-hmm. If you would change your attitude, you'd have a good day every day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this morning we woke up and we had no air conditioning, and
I've
been in the blog cabin all day long. And Allie was actually out here earlier with me, and she actually stayed all day long out here. Thankful that we have air conditioning here, or this interview would not have taken place because when I went in to fix my makeup, it was like sweat coming down.
Right, but that could have thrown your whole day off, and you could have been mad, and you could text me and I'm not in the mood to do this. I'm not, but you didn't.
No, that's true. So how do you, every morning when you wake up, is there a morning routine? You said that you had to do practice your gratitude, what you're thankful for. Is there a morning routine that you do? Like a lot of people journal in the morning. A lot of people read their Bibles, devotionals. What do you do?
I don't do anything in the morning. I hit snooze 400 times, and then I run out of bed and brush my teeth and throw something on my face and leave. That's how that goes. I'm not a morning person. So
but you're always so put together.
Well, I usually finish my makeup at work, so that's where that comes from. Okay. I won't lie. But, no, I'm not a morning person. And a lot of people, that's how they start their day. They get their coffee, they get their Bible, and all that. But I don't do mornings, and not even Jesus would like me in the morning because I'm not a happy person to be around. I like to do mine at night. and I read a devotion, and then I journal with it, and then I always write down, I call it the 4 P's: the pit, peak, prayer request, and the praise of my day.
I love that.
And I end my day on a good note every night. I write, the pit is obviously something that went wrong or bad, and sometimes it's something stupid, like it's hot out.
Okay, so like the pit, do you also brainstorm about how you can make a pit a praise later?
Sometimes that happens because I write it down so I can look back and see. And that's the fun part about it, especially like prayer requests. I can look back and see where he answered prayers. But I mean, there's not, and some days I don't have one. Some days I just had a good day all around, so I don't write anything. And sometimes I've had a really, really bad day, but the peak is I woke up to live another day, or the peak is I get to try again tomorrow, or
the peak could be Windsor, Jake, and what's the other dog?
Jack.
I knew it was the J.
That's just
their
it.
Faces.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's something there. Every day might not be good, but there's something good in every day.
I love that.
And if you're alive and taking a breath, that's good enough. Anything else is icing on the cake.
Is there any special tools? Do you just get a regular notebook and just write your things? Or do you...
I just have a notebook. I write the day, and then I write, maybe verses that go with devotions or text from it, or, if it's a book we're doing or something like that. It just depends. But no, it's just a plain old notebook.
Well, let's talk about since you said the book we're doing, the Proverbs 31 book. What was it, the one that we did with Wendy Blight? Do you remember the name of it?
Hidden Joy in a Dark Corner.
Yes. Let's talk about that one, because that one's a huge impact on both you and me. I mean, we met almost every week during the time that they 6 weeks. We met for dinner, and we would have 2 to 3 hour conversations about stuff like that.
That book just set my soul on fire in all the best ways. Like, you just want to keep reading. And it was hard to stop so you could follow the plan. But her story is different than mine and different than yours. She experienced some major, major trauma that really shaped her life. But she just talks about working through it with her faith and how she just couldn't let it control her anymore. The fear was paralyzing. And everybody's afraid of something. And fear of failure is a big one for me. And like, you didn't want to get on here and do this. This was a big fear.
This was like a huge anxiety for me. I always wanted to be
behind the camera
and never in front. And it happened during COVID. And it actually happened during Nikki Cozy Art stuff. And we came into the mindset coach that I was working with.
Right. And so, she just talked about how she put all her faith and trust in God and read the word and learned how to apply it to her life, and how he just guided her. And I was like, well, if he can do that for her, he can do that for me. He can do it for you. And that made all the difference.
Wow. So you said you don't have a morning routine because you're basically hitting snooze. Do you at least lay out your clothes before you go to bed at night?
Yes.
Okay. So
I do. I just keep a bunch of outfits together, and then whatever I feel, and I just grab.
Okay. So it's like, okay, I'm gone. I'm out the door. And normally, what time do you get to work? I have to get you on that one.
8. Obviously, we work 8 to 5.
I have to get her on that one because she's known to be coming in hot.
Always
texting me saying, I'm coming in hot. Like always. At dinner. Now, what is one thing that you would suggest to somebody who is going through like the anxiety, the not thinking there's anything good, besides journaling, besides doing the 4 Ps? What is something else? Do you think physical exercise helps, or?
I'm sure it does. I'm not really the one to speak on that.
But you are on the treadmill now.
I do, yeah. But that's more of I make myself. That's not a stress reliever for me. You have to find your thing. Like, for me, it's, like I said, I like to play with Windsor, or I like to watch YouTube videos or blog, or you have to find your outlet. So that may be physical exercise. That may be coffee with a friend. That may be just spending 15 minutes alone with yourself and, getting it all out there. Like, if you can't lie to yourself, you can lie to anybody else, but you can only tell yourself you're okay for so long. But something that really helped me was I would open a Word document on my computer, because I can type faster than I can write. And I would just do like a brain dump. Just everything that was on my mind, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, went on that document. It was like a vent, way to vent. And Because you feel better when you let it out, no matter what it is that's bothering you. And then I'd erase it and close my computer, and I'm like, I'm done with that.
Oh, so you erase it. You don't even.
No.
Because I know some people actually print them out and then they like burn them, like they're up in the symbolic.
Yeah, I delete it and then close the computer, and I've given that all the time when I'm going to give it.
Wow. Now, would the younger Hannah would have done that?
I would do that, but I wouldn't let it go. I would tell myself I did.
That's the hard part.
And I might for like a day.
You had like a little string.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulling it, and all of a sudden it's like the sweater unraveling. You just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and before you know it, you have it all unraveled and you're a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you tell the younger Hannah now?
You'll figure it out. You don't have to have your whole life figured out when you're 17, 18. I mean, there are people far older than me that don't have their life figured out or have it all together. I don't know that anybody really ever has it all together, but you strive for this image that society, your family, whatever, thinks is the path for you. And you feel obligated to stay on that path and hit all those crosswalks and check all those marks. And it's okay to derail and do your own thing.
Now let's talk about when you first came home, because I remember you telling me you showed up at the driveway and when you were younger, and your dad asked you, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing home? And then they were very, very supportive of you. They weren't like, oh, you going back up there or anything. Let's talk about, have you ever had conversations with them? I know some have a little bit of conversation with them.
No, I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew my struggles. Nobody. And so to throw that on them was a little bit much. But it was at that point, it was the job that was really taxing and wearing on me. And my dad said, well, quit. I said, I can't quit. I already depend on y'all far more than I want to. And if I have no income, then I'm exactly where I'm trying to get away from and don't want to be. And he's like, figure it out, just quit. You can't live like that. So I did.
So the fact that you had supportive parents helped you out a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's a lot of kids out there that they don't think their parents will understand. They don't think that they can actually go to mom and dad and say, hey, look, this is how I'm feeling, or this is what's going on with me. But they should take a risk, right?
Yeah. And I don't even think they knew that night that had I stayed in Raleigh, that's what I was going to. They didn't. They learned later. When I got my tattoo, they learned because I wrote about it. But I had never face-to-face told them that.
So how do they feel about it now that they know? Were they like shocked they couldn't see the signs, or
they didn't? Well, nobody in my family ever dealt with anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's different if you know somebody, or you're somebody personally or close to you that's going through it. But nobody else in my family really has these kinds of issues. So it was just nobody knew what to do about it. Like I didn't know what I said, I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. But my mom was like, if you need to talk to somebody or you need something, whatever you need, we'll make it work. Don't feel like that. Don't sit there and not do anything about it.
I honestly can see your mom doing that.
Yeah.
Your mom's such a sweetheart. And your dad too. Your dad cracks me up. I met him once.
Yeah, he came
at
that
the
night.
Church.
Yeah.
But you also created something that a lot of it, she has amazing handwriting. And so you created a business, kind of like a little offshoot business, like a hobby business.
Yeah.
With hand lettering.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been begging you about doing the hand lettering again.
I know, I need to.
You did the lowercase. No,
yes.
I need to do that.
I know, I need to.
So if anybody's ever followed me on Instagram and seen where I've done any little bit, I haven't done a lot, but any little bit of hand lettering, it's all of this girl right here. She is all 100%. And I want to say she is definitely one of the people that will push me to do. I don't think you pushed me to do this, but I think you just pushed me out of my comfort zone, so where I can start expressing myself to people and try
something else.
Talking about topics that a lot of people don't really want to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's topics that people need to talk about.
Exactly.
Because you look at the suicide rate in the United States, and it's up there.
Especially right now with everything that's going on in the world. And yeah.
So and I want to thank you, Hannah, for coming and sharing your story, because I think even if it's just one person is touched by your story, that's one life that you saved. Yeah, so I definitely want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me.
And guys, I hope you enjoyed the very first in-person chat from the blog cabin. That I am so glad that it was you that did the first.
Me too.
And you know what? I didn't even suggest this. Hannah suggested that she come.
Well, you know, some
Do
things
it.
fall together, so other things can come. Some things fall apart, so other things can come together. So
Yep.
Here
And
we are.
our live last Monday when you were on the internet at your
I think it was
house.
Monday, yeah.
I think it was last Monday. There's still a little short snippet up on the Facebook page now if you guys want to go see that. But I will actually put in the show notes the suicide hotline if you even want reach out to talk to somebody. You said you can chat online on a computer as well. Anything like that.
with the National Suicide Organization, I believe it's
Yeah,
called.
I will put those in the show notes so that you guys can see that. And definitely, if you are ever thinking about taking your life, stop and think. Don't
You have
do
her
it.
Instagram, and she put mine on there.
Uh-huh.
You've got a friend in us, so
Yes.
yeah, we'll be glad to
Because
talk to you.
I'm a mom of 3 girls. You're the mom of a dog. But, honestly, my girls suffer, all 3 of them suffer with anxiety. And I always thought it was something I did as a mom because I suffered from it as well.
Right.
But it's just something
Yeah.
that just happened. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. And remember, you are worthy, you are loved, and most important, your life is worth something. So please think twice
Amen.
before anything happens. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.